Ambalam, arrested for obstructing police duties. Opposition calls for parliamentarians' privileges to be protected. Rajangane Saddaratana Thera, Natasha Edirisurya and Bruno Divakara remanded until the 21st of June in their respective cases. Overseas travel bans on Namal, Sanjeeva, CB and Sampath over the 9th May 2022 unrest lifted. Dr. Harsha De Silva appointed as the chairman of the Committee on Public Finance on President's recommendation. Dengue cases on the rise. Health sector urges taking precautions. Civil activists call for legislation on media suppression to be withdrawn.
අධිකරණ ඇමති මේ විකාශන නියාමයට 50 හදාද හිටියා ATA 50 හදාද හිටියා අච්චර පරිසරහානියක් වෙච්ච එකට නඩුව දාන්න අධිකරණ ඇමතිට බැරි වුණා.
Onto your lead story this evening. Sri Lanka police took measures to disperse a protest organised by the Inter-University Students' Federation at the Sri Jayawardhanapura University.
University students at the Sri Jayawardhanapura University marched in protest from the university premises to the main gate of the university. Their demands included an increase in provisions for the Mahapula scholarship, end state suppression and the release of detained student activists. Thereafter, the protest march proceeded towards Sorathamawatha in Vijayarama, located opposite the Sri Jayawardhanapura University. 100 meters into the road, Sri Lanka Police and Sri Lanka Army had installed roadblocks preventing them from moving forward.
නීතිපති තියෙනවා අරගලේන සම්බන්ධ වුණා මේ ළමයි ප්‍රචණ්ඩයි කියලා. එතකොට මේ රනිලා කරන වැඩ ප්‍රචණ්ඩ නැද්ද? මිනිස්සුන්ට බදුට බදු දානවා. මිනිස්සුන්ට කන්න බොන්න විදියක් නෑ.
පසුව සිසුන්ට පොලිසිය ජල ප්‍රහාර එල්ල කළා. Thereafter, Sri Lanka police fired their water cannons to disperse the students. Thereafter, tear gas was fired to disperse the protesting university students. News First camera also captured images of the public being inconvenienced by tear gas and water cannons.
Sri Lanka police elaborated on the measures to be taken to disperse the university students.
The Fourth Magistrate Court issued an order prohibiting them from moving along roads, entering state institutions and disturbing the public. The Maliga Kamba courts also issued an order. Measures were taken to control the students when they tried to proceed to the high-level road from the Jayawardhanapura University. They were informed that by entering the road they are causing an inconvenience to the public and the motorist. Because they tried to proceed further, police fired water cannons and tear gas.
ජල ප්‍රහාරයන් සහ කඳුළු ගෑස් ප්‍රහාරයන් එල්ල කරන්න සිද්ධ වුණා.
Parliamentarian Gajendra Kumar Ponnambalam from the Tamil National People's Front, who was arrested on Wednesday morning, was released on bail after he was produced to the Kilinochchi Magistrates Court. He was arrested for allegedly obstructing the duties of police officers in Jaffna recently.
Parliamentarian Gajendra Kumar Ponnambalam from the Tamil National People's Front was arrested in his Kolpiti residence on Wednesday morning. A special police team from Kilinochchi has reached Colombo to make the arrest. MP Ponnambalam stressed that the arrest was illegal and informed the speaker about it over the phone.
They want me to only record a statement, sir. Arrest order? Sir, he said there is no arrest order. No, there is no arrest order. He said, you just come to me. He's here in front of me. He's a 3-star officer. How the OIC Jayapuram CN OIC Jayapuram CN Navaratna, he said there is no arrest order, sir. Yeah. No, there is no harm in giving the statement, sir. But I was told by the police that they wanted me to come only tomorrow. Right? After they have given in writing, sir, they have asked me to come tomorrow. And then I have come and I want to raise a matter of privilege today. So they have got to know that I am trying to raise a matter of privilege today and they want to prevent me and they are trying to arrest me today. It's an illegal arrest, sir. Now this police officer told me till now, sir, that they have a arrest order. But now when I am speaking to and I am asking him, please produce the arrest order, he is saying that there is no arrest order. But he is refusing to accept that, sir. Unless you tell them, he is refusing to accept that. Right. Arrest order එකක් නැතුව මාව ගෙනියන්න බෑ කියලා ස්පීකර් කියනවා.
ඇස් කරලා තියෙන්නේ සර් එන්න වෙනවා.
නෑ මට arrest order එක දෙන්නන්න.
ඕඩර් එකක් ඕනේ නැහැ සර් මේ
නෑ මට ඕනේ. මට දැනගන්න ඕනේ. ඇයි මාව ගෙනියන්නේ?
මේ රජයේ නිලධාරියෙකුට සාපරාධි බලහත්කාරයක් කරනවා.
මම දැන් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ වරප්‍රසාද ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඇති කරන්නයි කියලා තියෙන්නේ. මට කතානායක
ඒ අවසරය දීලා තියෙන්නේ සර්.
කතානායකතුමා කිව්වා මට පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට ඕගොල්ලෝ මාව ගෙනියන්න.
The speaker said that I should be taken to the parliament and a statement can be recorded after I raise my privilege issue. If there was an urgency, your police wouldn't have told me to visit the police tomorrow and record a statement. You are trying to sabotage my attempt to raise a privilege issue. This is illegal. The police are the offenders.
මේ සම්පූර්ණ සිද්ධිය නෑ දැන් ස්පීකර් කියලා දිනනවා මට යන්න ඕනේ නෑ කියලා.
නෑ අපිට එහෙම නියෝගයක් දීලා නෑ සර්.
යන්න ඕනේ නෑ.
අපිට එහෙම නියෝගයක් දීලා නෑ සර්. අරන් දැන් මම අරස්ට් කරලා ඉන්නේ සර්. සර් මාත් එක්ක යන්න ඕන. සර් අධිකරණයේ තියෙන සර්. Then
මට arrest receipt එකක් දෙන්න.
උසාවියේ නියන්නේ සර් උසාවියේදී අපි මොන හරි වරදක් කළා දෙනවා නම් අධිකරණය එක තේරෙන්නේ කරන්නේ.
ඒ receipt එක එතුමාට දෙන්න. ඒක පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රීවරයා
receipt එකක්
අපේ ජනතාවගේ නායකයා. එතකොට කොයිද මට මේ
මේ
The parliamentarian was first taken to the Kolpiti police and thereafter was taken to Kilinochchi to be produced in court. A debate ensued in Parliament today on parliamentarian Gajendra Kumar Ponnambalam.
We have gotten to know that he has even contacted you and said he will provide a statement at the relevant police station once the parliament session ends. I would like to bring to your attention a clear decision announced by the then Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa on Tuesday, the 3rd of March 2015, on the procedure which should be followed when arresting a parliamentarian. He cannot be arrested when he is preparing to arrive at this chamber. Parliamentarian Ponnambalam called me and so did the DIG. What they said was he will be produced to the court in Kilinochchi and be allowed to attend the parliament session thereafter. I do not think we can obstruct the duties of the police. It is their responsibility to produce him in court once he is arrested. Individuals with murder allegations came into this parliament. There are visuals of MPs attacking former Speaker Karu Jayasuriya. Was action taken? On the 9th of May, an individual wearing a yellow shirt went with Deshabandhu Tenakon and attacked the Aragalaya. Was any action taken? Bruno Divakara has been arrested under the ICCPR for hate speech. If you want an example of hate speech, listen to Mahinda Rajapaksa speaking at the Temple Trees on the 9th of May. Who has been arrested over it? We continue to stress that there are 2 laws being enacted in this country. Entrepreneurs are starving. They are unable to pay leasing installments. If someone rented a building and set up a business, it is wound up by today. But Gotabe Rajapaksa, who is responsible for all of it, has been assigned a new house in Stanmore Crescent because there is too much noise at the house in Mallasekara Mawatha. This is Sri Lanka. That residence is rightfully assigned to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He has given it because that is his client. Not only will he give his residence, but also his clothes if it is required. Will foreign investors come into the country when they see Gajendra Kumar's issue? Will investors from the Tamil diaspora invest in the country? Was it right for him to threaten a police officer on duty? Is it suitable for an MP to do so? We cannot allow people to be intimidated. A separate law isn't enacted in the north. Investors will never come when they see what MPs are up to. He made another infuriating statement saying the Minister of Foreign Affairs is handing his official residence over to his client. The minister does not have an ability and he cannot do that. These statements made behind parliamentary privileges are truly vilifying. He needs to revoke that statement. No one acted in a thuggish manner. When Vimal Viravansa went and made a DIG answer a phone call, was that not thuggery? Minister Ramesh Patinana said, I lied about the foreign minister. The Newswire article proves otherwise. It is evident that the LTTE's hidden hands are still operating. Was what Gajendra Kumar Ponnambalam did correct, especially in front of a school? This is clearly a proxy of the LTTE. The police had attacked him and fled to the examination centre. Do not lie. Do not deceive people in this chamber. The police should also be investigated. They must be arrested. Find out whether it was Gajendra Kumar or the police that went into the exam centre.
Sri Lanka State Minister for Media Shanta Bandara revealed in Parliament that the country's intelligence agencies are reporting on all events organised by members of Parliament. If an MP organises a meeting, the intelligence agencies have been informed to provide information on those events. Irrespective of being from the ruling faction or the opposition, the intelligence agencies from top to bottom have been instructed to report on those meetings. That is part of their duty and it does not obstruct anyone. Security agencies need to know what is happening in order to strengthen national security. If an official is obstructed from performing his duties, and even if disturbances are caused during the examination, the law needs to be enforced, even if it is MP Ponnambalam or even Shanta Bandara.
Venerable Rajangane Saddaratanathero, who was arrested by the Criminal Investigation Department for making comments that were harmful for religious coexistence, was remanded until the 21st of June by the Fort Magistrates Court. Fort Magistrate Thilina Gamage issued the remand order based on the submissions made by the CID and the Counsel for the Defence.
The ICCPR was not created to discipline theras. If there is an issue with regard to the discipline and language of a thera, the ICCPR is not the act that should be used to penalize the thera. Upon submissions made to court, an order was made to submit bail documents by the 14th of June. On the 21st of June, the CID can file objections, if any.
Natasha Edirisuriya and Bruno Divakara, who were arrested following controversial remarks being made public, were remanded to the 21st of June by the Fort Magistrates Court. When the matter was called up on Wednesday, the suspects were not produced in court and they appeared for the hearing via Skype. In addition, a counsel appeared on behalf of Venerable Balangoda Kassapathero, an aggrieved party, and made submissions to the court.
අපි මෙහිදී අවධාරණය කරා ගරු අධිකරණයට ඕනෑම කෙනෙකුට
We inform the court that every person has the right to make a joke. However, nobody is allowed to make jokes at a religious figure or on any other person's beliefs. Recently, a person named Sepal Dahanayaka criticized the sacred relic and charges were withdrawn by the Attorney General as he apologized. This cannot continue. If a person is forgiven for offences because he makes an apology, those in prison for stealing a single mango should also be able to secure bail by apologizing for committing that offence. The ICCPR is a very serious act. For crimes under the ICCPR, bail can only be given by the High Court. And if anyone is charged under the ICCPR is allowed to post bail by simply apologizing, and if the Attorney General is withdrawing the charges based on that apology, it sets a very bad precedent.
ඒක මහා බරපතල පූර්වාදර්ශයක් වෙනවා.
The Fourth Magistrates Court ordered to completely lift the overseas travel ban imposed on parliamentarians Namal Rajapaksa, C.B. Ratnayaka, Sanjeev Edirimana and Sampath Atukorala over the 9th of May 2022 unrest and assault on protesters at Goldface Green. The order was given when the complaint was called up again at the Fourth Magistrate Court on Wednesday. The group of parliamentarians were not named as suspects in the case. The Fourth Magistrate Court also ordered for the complaint filed against ex-Minister Johnston Fernando, State Minister Sanat Nishanta and MP Milan Jayatilaka, who are named as suspects, to be called up again on the 19th of July. The Criminal Investigation Department informed the court that it had received the Attorney General's instructions regarding the suspects. As the decision of a petition filed with the Court of Appeal is to be announced on the 23rd of June, the Criminal Investigation Department requested the Magistrate Court to declare a date for the matter after the Appeal Court decision is announced. Accordingly, the Magistrate ordered the case to be called up on the 19th of July.
මේ අරගලකාරයන්ගෙන් තමයි යහන්න මේ රටේ ආර්ථිකය කඩාවැටලා රට විනාශ කරලා මේ විනාශ වෙච්ච ආර්ථිකයේ යම් ප්‍රමාණයක් විනාශ වෙන එකට ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන් කියනවා අරගලකාරයෝ. හරි බොහොම
අර ජනමාධ්‍ය නිදහස ඔබතුමාලා අපිට නැති කරනවද?
නෑ අපි ජනමාධ්‍ය නිදහස නැති කරන්නේ නෑ.
එහෙනම් දැන් ගේන පනතර මොකද වෙන්නේ?
පනත ගැන බලමු. පනත ගේනවනේ. ඒකේ නිදහස නැති වෙනවද? නැත්නම් මාධ්‍ය හරි ක්‍රමයට යයිද කියලා බලමු.
අපි අහන ප්‍රශ්න
දාලා දෙන්න.
In the meantime, State Minister of Mass Media Shantha Bandara says that media organizations were given 3 weeks to submit their views and suggestions on the proposal submitted by the Cabinet Subcommittee on the establishment of the Broadcasting Regulatory Commission. A discussion between representatives of media institutions and the Cabinet Subcommittee was held at the Parliament complex on Wednesday. The subcommittee has agreed to provide the Sinhala version of the currently prepared proposal to the media organizations within the next week, as only the English version of the relevant proposal has been released. The State Minister for Mass Media, Shantha Bandara, said the currently prepared proposal is to be submitted after being subject to amendments. The State Minister also said that the Cabinet Subcommittee expects to discuss with the Electronic Broadcasters Association and the proposals presented by the media organizations in 3 weeks. Representatives of media organizations have discussed with the opposition regarding the document about the Broadcasting Regulatory Commission that has been presented. The opposition leader has said that while opposing the relevant proposal, he expects to submit an alternative proposal.
The Ceylon Teachers Union pointed out that the adverse effects of the Broadcasting Regulatory Commission.
All these media institutions will have to decide based on the preference of Ranil Wickremesinghe, the Rajapaksas and the SLPP. Thereby, the media institutions can no longer talk about the theft of the tsunami funds. They will not be able to speak on the collapse of national security led by the Easter attacks. Ranil Wickremesinghe has sold the assets of the country. I remember the sale of the Hambantota harbour. The media institutions won't be able to talk about those. Long-term destruction similar to the Express Pearl incident cannot be discussed. We all noticed some media institutions broadcasting documentaries such as The Sea of Sri Lanka and highlighted the importance of the sea. Media institutions like them won't be able to carry out such things. This is what they are expecting from the Broadcasting Authority Bill. Everyone should condemn this bill irrelevant of the political party.
The Youth for Change also expressed their views.
අසත්‍ය තොරතුරු කියන එක කවුද තීරණය
Who will be
කරන්නේ?
deciding which information is false? The committee and the chairman appointed by Ranil Wickremesinghe will be making such a decision whether it is false information or not. We are raising the question, who will be considering the information provided by the government on inflation, the rupee depreciation, the prices of goods, and information provided by the police spokesperson on the death of persons at police stations as false information? The media who stands for the people and the journalists will have to face this problem. Everyone should oppose this without any discrimination. We have to defeat this bill even before it is passed. We are requesting the journalists, the media institutions and their heads to not get caught in their agenda. They are trying to bring amendments to this bill and pass it with the involvement of the heads of the media organizations. Environmentalists are constantly reporting the damages caused to the environment by the Express Pearl disaster for 2 years now. The Justice Minister was busy drafting the Broadcasting Authority Bill and the Anti-Terrorism Bill, but he still couldn't take any action on the Express Pearl disaster.
අච්චර පරිසරහානියක් වෙච්ච එකට නඩුව දාන්න අධිකරණ ඇමතිට බැරි වුණා.
This matter was discussed during the Satana program aired on our sister channel Sirsa TV last night.
I still cannot fathom whether decisions are made by Ranil Wickremesinghe or the Rajapaksa clan. I mentioned it in Parliament as well. This is not the Ranil Wickremesinghe video in 2015. This is a totally different person. The same Ranil Wickremesinghe that took a key role in 2015 to establish independent commissions is now trying to upend those by following a repressive approach. He is not who he was.
ජනාධිපතිවරයා නෙමෙයි මේ ඉන්නේ. ඒ වෙනකොට පෙන්නනවා උද්දමනේ අඩු වෙලා තියෙනවා කියලා. උද්දමනේ කියන සංකල්පය.
By today, we see reports of inflation slowing. The concept of inflation has two parts. One is surface inflation and the other is base inflation. A government can change inflation on the surface. So, surface inflation will indicate a decline, but base inflation will remain. According to the Colombo Consumer Price Index in January 2021, the cost of living for a family of 4 is 91,000 rupees per month. In May 2023, it has risen to 176,000 rupees. Cost of living has increased by 92%. The government is boasting about the strengthening rupee, but all of this is a mirage. The dollar is being held at its position artificially. It is no wonder seeing the price of it falling if there is no demand. We can show the rupee has truly strengthened by opening letters of credit. We will be given a proper assessment of what the dollar value is in the country if letters of credit are allowed to be opened freely. This is an interval in hell. We can see how macroeconomic indicators turn upside down once the loan negotiation process is concluded. A day will come when the people take to the streets against a government without a mandate. So, such a government must legally consider the people as terrorists. An anti-terror law must be brought in for that purpose. What does the media do? It will reveal that to the people and the international community. Therefore, the defender must be stifled by the government without a mandate. What we can expect from a government of this nature is introducing laws that brand citizens as terrorists, bringing in laws to promote media suppression, and laws to maintain their hold on power.
මාධ්‍ය මර්ධනය කරන එක සහ තමන්ගේ බලපරාක්‍රමය පවත්වාගෙන යාම සඳහා මෙවැනි ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගැනීම.
Dr. Harsha De Silva was appointed as the chairman of the Committee on Public Finance as per the President's recommendations on Wednesday.
Though Dr. Harsha De Silva was nominated for the post of chairman of the Committee on Public Finance, the appointment was not made for almost 6 months. Instead, the ruling faction MPs appointed pro-term chairman and secured the green light for a number of bills and legislations. Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe had attended the Committee on Public Finance meeting on Wednesday and recommended that Dr. Harsha De Silva be appointed as the chairman. Ruling party and opposition parliamentarians in the Committee on Public Finance had unanimously approved the recommendation made by the President.
The President wanted the Committee on Public Finance to look into the government's borrowings. We are in a debt trap. The committee is yet to conduct a proper and extensive study on the debt crisis. With regard to debt restructuring, the President said the Committee on Public Finance must contribute towards it in a greater manner. We will be discussing external and domestic debt with all factions.
The number of MOH areas declared as dengue risk zone has increased to 67. Dr. Lahiru Korituaku from the National Dengue Control Unit says that the number of dengue cases being reported from 38 MOH areas is considerably high compared to the previous week.
Sri Lanka recorded a total of 41,098 dengue cases so far in 2023. The highest number of 9,100 dengue cases were reported from the Gampha district in the Western province. In addition, a total of 8,600 dengue cases were reported from the Colombo district and another 2,200 dengue cases were reported from the Kandy district.
In 2017, Sri Lanka recorded 186,000 dengue cases. However, thereafter, we observed a gradual decline in the number of patients being reported weekly. In June 2017, we recorded 61,564 dengue cases. This year, the figure for the same period is 41,000. Based on our previous experiences, we can observe that with the monsoon season, there could be a spike in the number of dengue cases. We need to take the necessary precautionary measures.
A group of Sri Lanka Navy divers were felicitated by China for their daring diving operation on the high seas.
The Embassy of the People's Republic of China in Sri Lanka organized a special ceremony in Colombo to felicitate the diving team of the Sri Lanka Navy, which engaged in a heroic diving operation at the overturned Chinese fishing vessel Lu Peng Yuan Yu 28. The Chinese vessel upturned in the Australian search and rescue region south of Sri Lanka on the 16th of May 2023. The event was presided over by the Ambassador to the People's Republic of China in Sri Lanka, Ki Zhenhong. At the directives of the Commander of the Navy, Vice Admiral Priyantha Pereira, a diving team on board SLNS Vijayabahu was dispatched to the SAR region to engage in a challenging diving operation at the overturned Chinese fishing vessel. Having reached the location, the Sri Lanka Navy divers meticulously searched for air pockets within the upturned vessel, hoping to find any survivors. After strenuous diving in challenging conditions for 3 days, the Navy divers retrieved 2 bodies from the accommodation area and located 12 more decomposed bodies of the crew from other compartments. In less than 24 hours after the challenging diving operation, the distressed Chinese vessel sank into the deep depths of the ocean. It is against such a backdrop, the Sri Lanka Navy's exceptional diving operation, carried out under such hazardous circumstances, received international acclaim. On completion of its intended task, SLNS Vijayabahu commenced the return journey, and on her way home, the ship retrieved an ill fisherman from a local multi-day fishing trawler at sea about 460 nautical miles off Galle and brought him ashore for medical attention on the 26th of May. Speaking at the felicitation ceremony, Ambassador of the People's Republic of China in Sri Lanka said that the special diving operation carried out by the Navy was a testament to the friendly and strong relationship between the two countries.
Treasury bill interest rates, which determine the direction of market interest rates, have reduced remarkably.
This was observed at the Treasury bill auction held today. In the previous auction, the 3-month bill interest was 25.65%, and at today's auction, the rate had gone down to 23.21%. The 25.29% rate for 6-month Treasury bills had gone down to 21.9%. The interest rate of 1-year Treasury bills, which was at 22.91%, had gone down to 19.1%. Bids worth 315.54 billion rupees had been received for today's auction, from which the central bank had arranged to obtain 140 billion.
Sri Lankan Airlines CEO Richard Nuttall, in an interview with Channel News Asia, says that he forecasts that the airlines will see a $50 million profit in 2024.
I think the outlook for next year is even stronger. If you look at the year we've just had, the year started with the economic challenges in the country, in Sri Lanka. Assuming that the world stays the same for the year ahead, which we expect, and the Sri Lankan economy is rebounding, tourism is coming back, we're forecasting perhaps a 50 million profit next year. If you look at promoting tourism to the country, we have the tourism authority charity and you have events that people go to. But day in, day out, we have sales teams on the ground in all the countries that we fly to, and they work with all the tour operators. So, at a working level, day in, day out, we're promoting the country. I've worked for 8 airlines. I don't think I've ever worked for an airline that probably spends so much time promoting the country rather than the airline itself. If you look at us this year, 10% of our revenue has gone in paying interest on past debt that has really nothing to do with the airline of today. We've not had any money from the government for 2 years. But we've got interest rates on dollars that we're paying between 12 and 15%. And that is long-term unsustainable when passenger yields come down.
The World Bank Higher Education staff visited the University of Colombo on Wednesday.
The Accelerating Higher Education Expansion and Development Project, also known as AHEAD, was implemented by the World Bank in the university system of Sri Lanka.
But we had, of course, the improvement of undergraduate quality and the improvement of language skills of undergraduate students. So these are the two main areas we call LTA programs. So under these programs, we got a lot of money regarding various projects in the University of Colombo. And of course, we could enhance the quality of student and the English language in the University of Colombo students under this project.
Through the AHEAD Fund, the quality of undergraduates will be enhanced.
Deputy Assistant Secretary for Asia of the US Department of Treasury, Robert Caprock, visited Sri Lanka and met officials in the country.
Caprock's visit to Sri Lanka focused on gaining a clear understanding of Sri Lanka's latest macroeconomic and financial conditions and outlook. During his visit, Ambassador Chung and Caprock met with President Ranil Wickremesinghe and reaffirmed the United States would continue to explore areas in which their engagement and support will help Sri Lanka to overcome its economic challenges and continue its structural reforms. The visit also included meetings with many officials in the country. Caprock also met with officials of the International Monetary Fund, World Bank and the Asia Development Bank to further communicate and coordinate in assisting Sri Lanka to deepen its reforms and achieve a healthy and sustainable growth.
In the meantime, Sri Lankan Northern Aisha Smart, a barrister from Yorkshire, is now the youngest minority ethnic Crown Court judge.
Aisha Smart, aged 34, has been chosen to sit as a recorder in Crown Courts across the northeast of England after a lengthy series of exams, interviews and the King's approval. She said, "I'm really proud of the achievement, as are my family. I remember my mum commenting when I got the appointment that it made her family's move from Sri Lanka to UK all worthwhile." Her new position as recorder will see her sit in for a minimum of 30 days a year.
Sri Lanka has many emerging artists who specialize in modern art, and sculpting has always played a vital role in Sri Lankan art history. News First's Kenza Farooq met with a visual artist who specializes in sculpting.
Art, the three-letter word, holds so much meaning to it and so much color and even depth to it. Art is just not about paintings. It is also about music, dancing and even sculpting. Art has been a big part of Sri Lanka's heritage, Sri Lanka's history. You could even see it in Sigiriya, which is one of the famous art pieces that we have to display. And today we are here to meet an artist, a sculptor, who is also bringing out modern and contemporary art in Sri Lanka.
It's an art form that artists are allowed to reflect on artists' personal experience, social issues and any expressions using figurative and abstract forms. Being able to show feelings, tell stories and share ideas through sculptures gives me a strong feeling of purpose. I'm always trying to represent the ideas of satisfying through the incompleteness of our life. I have a very simple message, work until you no longer have to introduce yourself.
Dhananjaya has exhibited his art in the New York Art Expo and will be exhibiting his art in the upcoming Dubai Art Expo as well. His sculpts are made from stainless steel, brass, copper and even add semi-precious stones for an extra touch to his pieces. Many artists in Sri Lanka like Dhananjaya have played a huge role in promoting the rich culture of Sri Lanka and even showcased the beautiful talents of our dearest Sri Lankans.
more comprehensive look into Dhananjay's world of sculpting, visit our News First English social media platforms for the extended story.
The LOLC Divisavia program that aims to support the education of Sri Lankan children continued in the Badula district on Wednesday.
The LOLC Divisavia program gifts school books and stationery equipment to the most impoverished students in the country, ensuring a brighter future for them. Today, many students in the Badula district were gifted schooling essentials by the LOLC Divisavia team. The Divisavia social care program was carried out in the Adut Katiava Primary School, Nagadeepa Primary School and the Rohana Primary School, which belong to the Mahiyangane Education Zone, and also the Meegahahena Primary School, Gurukumbura Primary School and the Viranagama Primary School. Meanwhile, the LOLC Divisavia team also distributed school equipment and exercise books to students of 19 schools, including the Serupitiya Primary School, Bopitiya Primary School and Meegahavela Primary School at the Vialuva Education Zone. This worthy initiative is a collaboration between the LOLC Group and the Ministry of Education. The LOLC Divisavia program will continue to ensure a better future for all school children in Sri Lanka.
In more local developments, a panel discussion titled Russia-Ukraine War, Implications for South Asia was held on Wednesday in Colombo.
The event was held at the Bandaranaike Centre for International Studies with the participation of students and members of the general public who are interested in international relations and diplomacy. The panel discussion was held under the BCIS discussion series on current global issues 2023.
When it comes to the Russian incursion, so normally in strategic calculus what we say is any war of this scale, if it goes beyond 1 year, it looks very bad. Looks very bad in a sense, that means it's very hard to end. In any war, it's not the weapons, but the professionalism. That's what won Sri Lanka's war.
The event was attended by Professor Amal Jayawardena, the Acting Director of PCIS, Dr. Harinda Vitanage, Professor Sumana Sirilenage and Prasad Dodangodage.
In developments on the Russia-Ukraine war, the UN has warned that the breach of a dam in southern Ukraine will have grave and far-reaching consequences for thousands of people.
The two countries have blamed each other for the dam breach. At least 7 people are missing after flooding near Novokakhovka. Thousands of people were evacuated from the region amid reports of Russian shelling in the area. Ukraine swiftly accused Moscow, with President Volodymyr Zelensky saying the dam was mined by Russian occupiers who blew it up. He said Russian forces who had control of the region since last year likely blew the infrastructure up from inside the plant. The Geneva Conventions and its protocols explicitly ban wartime attacks on installations containing dangerous forces such as dams due to the risk posed to civilians, a prohibition likely to come into focus after the destruction of a huge Ukrainian dam.
Sri Lanka bowled out Afghanistan for 116 and reached the target in only 16 overs to win their one-day international series 2-1 at Suryavava on Wednesday. Sri Lanka made 120 for 1 to win by 9 wickets.
Afghanistan won the toss and decided to bat first against Sri Lanka at the Mahinda Rajapaksa International Cricket Stadium in Hambantota. Afghanistan lost opening batter Ramanullah Gurbaz early again, trying to hook Kumara in the second over and top edging to fine leg on 8 runs. Afghanistan were all out in 22.2 overs. It was a poor effort on a good batting surface. Only 3 batters managed 20+ runs amid too many soft dismissals. Sri Lanka wasted no time in chasing down the target. Openers Pathum Nissanka and Dimuth Karunaratne shared an 84-run stand. Nissanka raced to his 7th half-century in just 32 balls with 8 fours and 2 sixers and was later dismissed on 51. Karunaratne required 43 balls for his 8th half-century that included 7 fours. He was unbeaten on 56 when Sri Lanka secured the win with 34 overs to spare.
Sri Lanka cricketer Dushmantha Chamira, who picked up 4 wickets, was adjudged the player of the match and the player of the series. After we lost the first game, we had to make a greater effort to win the other 2 games. We will carry our confidence with us for the qualifiers. Afghanistan is a good team. They have a good combination of good players. Afghanistan cannot be considered as the minnows anymore. This is a boost for us to go to the qualifiers. We have 2 practice matches ahead of the qualifiers. We are working as a team and we can win the series as well.
And that's a wrap of your news for today. For the News First team and Mariam Ganavijaya, good night and take care.